today's episode of the Squad Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Tasha Moore. I have this beautiful young lady sitting next to me, Miss De'Ebony Hartsfield. Y'all, she's an amazing, amazing person. We're going to get into that in a minute. First, let's start like we always do. How are you with your goals? Did you reach them? On your way? Not there yet? That's okay. If we did, we're going to give ourselves a hug. We're going to love on us. Yes, good job. If we didn't, that's okay. We're going to swipe it up, swipe it down, however you need to do it. It's all right. Tomorrow, today, this minute, this second, this hour is a new time. Start again. It's all right. You'll get there, okay? All right, y'all. Whew, that was a lot. First, let me start. Subscribe. Hit the button. It's up top, down on the side. I don't know where it is. But wherever it is, please subscribe to the Squad Podcast. Share this with someone else because there's somebody that needs to hear this. So, y'all, today we're talking about the wrong room. What that feels like, what that looks like. Because I know in my life, and De'Ebony's here because of her life, we've sometimes felt like we were in the wrong room. That it was us, that we were the problem. You ever felt like that? And it's not necessarily that you're the problem. It's just you're not in the right space. So today, we're talking about something that I feel like can relate to most women. Knowing when to pivot, when to shift, when to walk away, what that looks like from careers to relationships to all the things we're going to be talking about. Sometimes you're not the problem. You're just in the wrong room. All right, y'all ready? So if you ever felt unseen, unheard, like you had to conform to fit in, this episode is for you. Okay? All right, D. Okay, we call her D for short. De'Ebony, let's get into it. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you.
I am so excited to be here.
Thank you for saying yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So I was like, we got to do this, girl. We got to do this.
Yes.
So Miss De'Ebony Hartsfield, I always mess it up. Hartsfield. For those of you who do not know her, is an amazing entrepreneur. She's a mom, a wife. She is in property management. She's an influencer, an entrepreneur, and all the things, an influencer, all the things, y'all. She is a fashionista to the nine all day long, and she is a beautiful spirit that feel like I've watched walk into her true authentic self, and so it's been cool for me to see. She will catch a picture and an angle in a minute, okay? So if you do not follow her, go to her Instagram page because she will get you a shot, all right? She is that girl. She will take a photo, okay? And they're always so cool. So I just wanted to say, De'Ebony, thank you so much for being on today. I'm so excited to go through this conversation with you. Is there anything else you want to share with the squad?
No, just besides, I'm just extremely honored and happy to be here. It's a privilege just to hold conversation with you. Anyone who's ever been in any type of community with you, I think, can attest to the fact that you always leave better than you came when speaking with you. So
we're not starting to cry. No, thank you so much. Thank you for such kind words.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm grateful for that. All right, here we go. We're not doing that today. All right, already. So, we're starting off with, I thought I was the problem. So, when you hear that phrase, like what comes to mind for you?
Just that part of your life where you're critiquing everything about yourself and where you are, where you want to be, and then just trying to figure out, like, all right, whose fault is it when you're trying to place blame, right? And not necessarily that being the pivotal moment for when you go into those new places and spaces, but I feel like we all start at where can I place this blame before we get to where we're going to go. And like that phrase just brought me back to that moment in my life when I was trying to figure out whose fault was it that I was in that place at that time, at that moment, experiencing what I was experiencing.
Oh, wow. Okay, y'all. That's a nugget. Are we placing the blame on other people, other things, circumstances, situations, whatever it might be, instead of really maybe doing a deep dive into ourselves? I guess sometimes the initial inclination is like, well, it's this one or that one, or, I know for me it was like, well, I never saw an example. And it's like, okay, but does that mean you don't do what you're meant to do because you didn't see it done?
And it could be a combination of things.
100%.
Multiple things. It could be the example. It could be you. It could be who you're hanging around. But in general, for me, it was just, I had to put the blame somewhere in order to get past that feeling stuck. I felt like I had to place blame somewhere. And after getting through that, I did realize that was just a part of the journey. I didn't stay in that space long, but like I was looking to blame somebody, and I felt like I needed to put it in a space.
Okay.
In order for me to figure out, like, do I belong here?
Okay.
And how did I end up here?
Okay. Yeah. Like, where is maybe my misplaced blame? Mm-hmm. That's a question, you guys. If you're in a place and you're feeling stuck, like, am I putting it, do I have to put it somewhere? And if I haven't, let me do that. And then once I do, let me go back to it and revisit it. Mm-hmm. I like that. That's a good one. Do period. Okay, y'all heard what she said. All right, so for you, De'Ebony, what were some of the signs that you weren't thriving in the space that you were in that you had to admit to yourself?
I have a maybe somewhat of a different perspective on this.
Okay.
Because there are, in retrospect, so being where I am now, mm-hmm. And then looking back on the old D that I love so much but do not want to be her again, mm-hmm. right? There were so many areas of my life where now I can say that wasn't for me, mm-hmm. but in the same respect, there was something I got from that era of my mm-hmm. life. Like, this is a crazy example, but I'm going to use it. Yeah. So, working at Sea Captain's house, we used to have to hand fold to-go menus. And I worked there like fresh out of high school. Mm-hmm. We had to hand fold to-go menus, and I used to hate doing it as a host. I used to hate it. Like, that was just the one task I just, it bothered me so bad. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't need to know how to fold these, and y'all need to get somebody else to do them. This is not my job. I am a host, okay? But long story short, here I am now running a community in property management and having to put out multiple notices that we have to hand deliver if it's something really important, right? Because we will email, but we also hand deliver like urgent notices. So mm-hmm. I have a team of 4, 2 maintenance guys, and typically they'll put out the notices, but I have to get them together, right? And so that system of being able to fold multiple menus has taught me how to fold multiple notices for residents in a quicker time. Like, it provided me a system that helps me in property management, right? And back then I was complaining. Right. It didn't matter. I didn't need that skill, right? But here I am 10 years later using said skill. So,
did you hear the nugget? Did you catch it?
So it's just like, obviously I didn't want to be at Sea Captain's house forever. So I can look back and say, like, that's a space I needed to be out of, or that wasn't for me for the long term. But I did learn things there that I am certainly using mm-hmm. today. My customer service, I get so many compliments just on how I make people feel, mm-hmm. When they come into the office, how I make them feel seen, how I make them feel heard, right? Mm-hmm. Sea Captain's house drilled customer service. Like, they did not play. It was a high standard, high expectation, mm-hmm. Greeting mm-hmm. and having a smile and being, nice and friendly. And so, again, that's another trait that I feel like has got me to where I am today. My customer service skill, I feel like is pretty good, top tier.
Okay,
So
I love that. Listen, I say everything that you go through, y'all, is a stepping stone, and there are the moments mm-hmm. where you absolutely hate it. I know. I was a host at there wasn't anything in that restaurant I did not do. And I was like, this is for the birds, folding silver. Y'all, I be folding napkins for events now, so it's like it comes in handy. So what De'Ebony, I feel, is saying to you guys is every space you find yourself in, maybe not in that moment, somewhere down the line, you'll realize, mm-hmm. oh, okay, mm-hmm. that was why. And so I have always said, like, there have been places that I walked into and I'd be like, this is just a stepping stone. And people were like, what does that mean? Like, I don't plan to be here forever. Mm-hmm. If I am, okay, it's God's will. But mm-hmm. this is just going to get me somewhere else. And I look back over my life like, oh, that's why I did that. Like, I took a communication class and just to take it when I was going to Origin Tech, and I didn't know that years later, guess what? I'm communicating with people. Like a speech class, that's what it was, a speech. And so everything you do somewhere will align in a space in a way that you realize, oh, okay, that is what that was for. So now I'm a girl out here folding notices. Okay. All started as Shout out to Sea Captain.
Shout out to Sea Captain. Definitely helped with, creating life skills for me, that job. One of my, that was one of my long-term jobs. One I held down, I'm pretty proud to say the sister would quit a job like it ain't nobody's business. But,
girl, I know it's the same. I'd be like, I'll find a new one.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't like it no more.
And then just wanting to give the listeners a little nugget of remembering to give yourself grace, because I didn't realize when I was at Sea Captains that it would have the impact that it has on me now, or that I would have the takeaways that I have now. Sometimes, like you said, you can arrive someplace and you're like, I know this is just what I need to do right now to get where I want to be. You have a clear picture. But other times, you're surviving. You're just trying to get by. And that's what Sea Captains was for me. You know what I'm saying? I was a young mom, a new mom, trying to hold down the job. Like, it was the first job that I knew I just couldn't quit because I had responsibilities. I had my own place. I had a child. So, I was forced to stay there longer than I would have liked. But, I mean, it's a pivotal part in my story.
I love that. So, not always where you start is where you finish, and sometimes it is, and that's okay either way. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with is all going to work together in the end. I love that. All right. So, do you have a moment when you realize that you weren't the problem the space was?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. For me, it was the influencer space. I feel like I was given authenticity before it was a trend. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that everyone in that space is selling you something as far as what's not real, but the reality is they're there to make money, right? So if being themselves is not generating the income that they need, then they're going to switch that up to what is. If my analytics show that when I'm, let's just say, talking about working, that's when my numbers show that people are most engaged, versus when I'm talking about parenting, which is something that I'm passionate about, something that I'm showing up as my authentic self. Well, the numbers don't like that, but they like, what am I going to do? I'm going to steer towards, working, but my passion may not be work. I may not have the drive and all of that to discuss work, but I'm going where the money is. And so I feel like at some point, for me, I was paying attention to my numbers. And so I thought I was being real by giving people what they wanted based off of my numbers, but I was losing sight of me and what I started. You know what I'm saying? I didn't start influencing for the money because I had no idea how lucrative it would be, right? Like, I literally saw an influencer one time. I was like, oh, I love her. I can do that. I can do what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to think about, you guys, but it's just my little naive brain. I went into it just thinking, oh, you just get so much free stuff. I had no idea these content creators were making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I didn't go in it for the money. But back to the question, I do feel like for me, I realized that my morals, my values, what I was standing for was just a little bit more important to me than what I guess my following was telling me they wanted. And so I had to decide whether I was going to go with what the numbers were saying or if I was going to stay true to me. And so I picked staying true to me because ultimately when the cameras were turned off, I wasn't happy with me. It was a horrible time in my life when I was full-time influencing. Like, I look back on those memories and I can't even watch some of them. I cringe, I cry, I look at her and my heart breaks for the person, and I was definitely being D, but I was so broken and I was seeking validation so bad. It's so hurtful to think about, like how bad I needed the approval of strangers, and some were friends, some were family, but like those numbers. And so now when I decided to walk away from it, that's when I realized that like it wasn't necessarily me, because you can never fault yourself for I'm me.
Right.
You know, and if that's not what y'all want to see, if y'all want to see the curated homes and families and all of that, like, maybe if I would have stuck at it, I could have gave them that. But at that moment in my life, I didn't have that to give. I didn't have that to service. That wasn't my life. You know what I'm saying? And so I chose me.
Period. Y'all, I hope y'all are catching this. I mean, seriously. I love that you said that's one of the things for me when I realized I was not in the right room, because I was no version of who I really am. I was dumbifying myself to, like, questions I knew the answer to. I wouldn't say anything. I am a talker by trade. I would sit in the room and say absolutely nothing, feeling like I didn't have anything to contribute to the conversation. I was absolutely not who I love a sparkle. I love a rhinestone, big earrings, all the things. I wouldn't wear any of that. I would feel like, okay, I'm going to this room, or I'm going to this space, I gotta look like this, or I gotta talk like this, or I have to be this. And I found myself, like, I don't know if it was anxiety, but feeling like not even wanting to walk in the rooms, like spaces and places and meetings. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe I'll just tell them that I can, or this and that. And so one of the things I remember saying, like, when I was on my journey, just like, okay, God, I feel like I know you, but I know a version of you that other people have given to me. I want to know that I know you for myself, like your character and who you are. And so that's for me when true freedom came. When I just started diving into, like, when I can learn who you are for me, then I can learn who I am to me. You know, because I don't even know what I was, to be honest. I was just this version of myself that I felt people wanted in the rooms. And so I was never truly fully Tasha. And when I dived deep into, like, I want to know you for myself, then I got to know me for myself. And it's like, I do like a rhinestone. I like the sparkle. I'm loud and I like big earrings. And what is wrong with that? And so I began to realize, like, every time I don't show up as me, I'm telling God he made a mistake, and he doesn't do that, right? Like, every time I don't show up as Tasha, I'm an alternate version of myself, and it's not true. And people are eventually going to realize it, you know, and not even people, myself. Like, you're not true to you. You have to be who you are, because it is who you are. So ladies, learn to love who you are, because it's you. People might not get it, they might not understand it, they might not rock with it, and that's okay. I tell people all the time, I am a lot. I am all things extra. I walk into rooms and I own it. I'm like, I'm extra. I am. I got voted most extra mom in my leadership class, and I was cool with it, because I'm extra.
Love that.
And I was like, I'm here for it, because it's truly who I am. And so it's okay to be quiet if you're quiet. It's okay to be loud and bold if you're loud and bold. It is okay for you to walk in your true authenticity, because that's what this world needs, I feel. And
it's so inspiring to others. Like, when people see you being your true authentic self, they can feel that. First of all, they're affected by that when we show up as ourselves. But we inspire so many people around us and who get to experience us when we show up as ourselves. Like, and we encourage them to show up as themselves. So then think about the energy in a room. Women specifically. That's what he does.
Okay. Yeah, and is.
I love being a girl. But women, imagine a room of women where everyone is confident and secure in who they are. Like, it gives me chills, because I want to be around those women. I want to create spaces for those women. Like, I want the world to be changed by those women. Secure, confident women. It's so important. It's so important.
100%. I love, like, when I walk into rooms, what you said. I went to Sarah Jackson. There was this lady, and she was speaking, and it was like spoken word, man. Powerful speakers, everybody was there, but she spoke to me because she was in her true authenticity. She had on, like, some jeans and I was like, that's my girl right there. Jeans, t-shirt, and a blazer. I love you, girl, because that is how I'm like, I love jeans, t-shirt, and a blazer is my outfit. And so I realized, like, you can be who you're meant to be. And she was just on the stage. Same. Walking into rooms when women are who they are is so cool, because who wants a carbon copy, or who wants everyone to be the same in the room? I love meeting new people, learning their stories and their journeys and like what they've been through. Not a me. I don't want another me. I'm a lot. I don't need another a lot. Okay. Everybody's like, your husband's so quiet. You're right, he is. We need that balance. Because I'm a lot. We can't have two a lots in the same place, okay? So I'm like, he's very, but he doesn't miss a thing because he is quiet. Where I'm full speed ahead, he's like, all right, let's slow down a little bit.
Right.
Because we doing a lot. You're right, we are. And so I love that you said that. Walking into a room full of women that are authentic and themselves, they are not moved by other women. Powerful women. I want powerful women in the room with me, because I'm like, it elevates me, my conversation, the things that I'm like, ooh, that's a great question. You know, I didn't think about it that way. That's a wonderful, wonderful perspective. Like, I didn't even think of that. So I absolutely love that. So, y'all, she realized she wasn't the problem, or she was not being her true self. And so now she is, and I love that. So y'all, you can start over and still shine. Okay. All right. Quitting versus pivoting. All right. Where I know.
I'm triggered.
No. Listen. I'm there. I told somebody the other day I was not a finisher. I was a quitter. And that was just me giving up on myself so many times. Versus pivoting, and that's a strategic reset, right? So, okay, don't be triggered, girl. What's one pivot you're currently thinking about but you haven't done quite yet?
So there is a thing. There's a thing. There's a career thing, and not really a pivot, or I guess it is a pivot, but it's more of like an additional route. You know what I'm saying? Like, still staying the course, but adding a second lane.
You turn. I get it. Yes. I got, okay.
So, and surprisingly so, as someone who feels like they are or have been a quitter, I don't identify as a quitter anymore, but I've worked really hard to be able to say that. But as someone who used to identify as a quitter, it's just very difficult for me to commit to that second lane because, for one, I know I'm not going to quit. Like, I'm there now. If I say I'm going to do it, if I start it, I'm going to finish it.
Love it.
But also a little bit afraid of what's going to come with that.
Okay.
And so that's been difficult for me. I've made up my mind that it's something I'm gonna do, but I haven't done, like I've done the groundwork.
Okay.
I laid the foundation, but now that it's time to put it in motion and do the thing that'll bring it to life, I haven't.
Okay. I like it. Yeah. I like it. Y'all, Dee talked about like being someone who would quit, and that's just giving up. I want you to hear us clearly. I feel like she would feel the same. You tell me if I'm wrong. It is okay for you to pivot, and sometimes there are things you do need to quit.
Absolutely.
But you do have to ask yourself, what's the reason that I'm quitting? Is it because the story I'm telling myself? Because we all have that thing that we tell ourselves. Or is it that I'm just being stretched and it's a little uncomfortable, and so I'm quitting because I don't want to be stretched or moved? I know for me that was it. When I felt overwhelmed, that's when I would quit things. Like, this is too much, when I don't even do it, or I'm doing it, it's not working. And sometimes all it takes is time. And me evaluating my reason for doing it. Was it for people or for myself? Was it for, something I felt like I was led to do, or just something I saw over there and was like, ooh, squirrel, let me go that way. I was that girl. Like, let me try this. Oh, my friend doing this. Let me do this. And my husband would be like, okay. And so I convinced myself I was starting a bakery. And I shared that with y'all before, and it was just like, girl, are you really going to be getting up at 5? Which I do get up at 5 a.m. in the morning now, but it was for a different reason. I realized that I was going through those things to teach me things that I need now. Waking up early, all the stuff. So it's okay to quit if it's something you need to walk away from. And sometimes it's not quitting, it's creating that extra lane, giving yourself that extra lane, that second lane. That's a little like, okay, we riding down here, but we coming along this too. It's so important to ask yourself. I like to tell my daughters, like, okay, what's next? Not always being not in the moment, but always thinking, what could I possibly maybe one day potentially add to what I am or what I'm doing now? And then allowing it to be what it's supposed to be in the time that it's supposed to be, if that makes sense. Okay. I love that. So what scares you the most about the pivot or walking away from something that isn't working?
I don't feel like I've had problems in the department of walking away from something, whether it's working or not.
Okay.
I'm fed up.
Okay.
It may be a skill set. It may be, a bad habit. I don't know. I've never really had problems walking away from stuff.
Okay.
But starting the thing, for some reason, and it's something that I'm still trying to figure out and identify within myself, because when, like you said, when you sit down and you do the work and you're trying to figure out like what's causing me to feel this way, why do I want to quit? Why, you're asking yourself those questions. The passion's there, the heart's there, the inspiration's there. I feel all of those things, right? But there's also fear. There's also inadequacy. There's also range and network. Just feeling like, okay, I'm kind of doing this by myself, like not really having a clear picture because there's not a blueprint. I'm the architect in this case. It's not something that I can kind of, you know what I mean? It's a passion project almost. And because I feel like I have started and failed businesses in the past, there's definitely this voice or person or whatever you want to call it that echoes, maybe you shouldn't, or can you really, or this and all of what you have going on. Like, it's just so many reasons why it could not work. And there's just passion, hope, inspiration, drive, heart as to why it could, but like, I think sometimes I'm too much of a realist when it comes to my dreams. I can inspire other people all day. Oh my God, that's a great idea. That's you. Like, I can see that. Yes, this is what you was meant to do. Like, but when it comes to me, it's like, now D, come on. You gonna do that and this. You got this, that. Like all the things. You're a wife. You're in school. You're a mother. You're a caretaker. You're a full-time employee. Really? You're gonna add something else? Like, can you really? And so that's been the most challenging part for me is doing what I feel and know in my heart is something that would fulfill me, even if it doesn't fulfill me financially. I know that this thing is going to fill me in my passion.
Okay, lots of little nuggets. And one for me, I want to encourage you exactly what we're talking about today. It's not necessarily failed businesses. You learned something and it was just the wrong room. And so, yes, they're all the things. And yes, you can. You can. Am I adding probably a little more? Yeah. Right. Yes. Because I was like, a podcast. And then I was like, I'm going to do it once a week. And everybody's like, oh, no, you need to do it once a month or bi-week. Like, nobody ever stays consistent. And so I had somebody ask me the other day, like, how do you feel? I was like, I love it. I didn't think I would. I didn't even want to do it. But now I'm like, ooh, who can I talk to this week? What can I talk about this week? What is it? Oh, you know what? I had a conversation with somebody the other day. Ooh, I can use that for an episode on the podcast. Like, I really do enjoy it. And my friends are like, when you are like, did y'all listen to my episode of the podcast this week? And I'm like, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm listening to it right now. And I'm like, or like, and it's not about the recognition that I get. And what lets me know that I'm on the right path, even in the moments, because y'all, I still doubt. I'm like, is anybody getting anything from this? That's my prayer and my hope, is that you hear stories of other women and you're like, oh, I'm not alone. And I had a lady message me and she was like, here you are, yet again. She drives for work and I guess she listens to it when she drives. She's like inspiring me. She said that that wasn't on the vision board. She's like, oh my gosh, that's so me. Like light pivot, I talked about plot twists and like things that have happened in my life that I never saw coming. And realizing that a good plot twist comes, you know, you like, oh, that's good, you know, and in the moment it might seem like, oh man, they messed up the storyline, right? When you watch, I'm thinking about a movie, and then at the end you're like, oh, that was such a good plot twist. And so for me, I share things that I go through, and so I'm like, I hope somebody gets something, but she'll text me like every week and be like, oh my gosh, well, not every week, but she'll text me and be like, this, and it's a quote, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, and so I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, y'all. So even especially in those moments where you don't feel like, and I say it all the time, I'm not qualified to do this. I'm not. I wish I was a Mel Robbins or what. I love Mel Robbins, by the way. Anyway, I don't feel qualified to do this, and maybe some version of me isn't, and I'm still gonna show up. I'm still gonna do my best, and whatever comes out of it, I stopped looking for the outcome. That was what I had to do.
Okay.
Like looking at what I wanted it to be. I have a girl who looks at my analytics, because for me, if I look at that, it'll mess me up and I won't focus on the purpose of this. And that's just to help you guys and myself grow and be better. And so I don't look at it intentionally, because I know myself. I'll be like, oh man, nobody watched. You know, I'll look at it for a second just so I see what I need to see. Like, okay, what time did I post it or whatever? But I don't dive. I only looked at it once to see like where people were listening from. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody from Africa was listening. That's so cool. And I was excited and I kept moving. So I don't dive deep into it, hover view over it, and the rest is what it's supposed to be. And just trust that. So for me, I don't pay attention to the outcome, because I can't control it anyway. I just show up. So just show up.
Just show up.
The rest will be and happen the way it's supposed to. Trust that. Okay? All right, girl. Let's see. How do you deal? How do you deal with the guilt of walking away from the expectations? Or friends or whatever.
It's staying busy. That's really overproductivity.
Okay.
That's something, and I'm working on that.
Okay.
My therapist was like, you cry about all the things on your plate, and then to aid yourself from it, you go and add more things to your plate. And I think my brain, like as afraid of her as I was, my brain, like when I say that, I'm gonna get real vulnerable with y'all for a minute. I'm just going back to school because I literally never felt like a smart person. Never. Like you can show me something and I can duplicate it and make it whatever. But when it comes to textbooks, lectures, anything like educational related, like the standard, just ideal education setup, has always been difficult for me. And so here recently, after being an adult and, taking various avenues to try to figure out how can I be better? How can I show up in rooms where I feel confident and like I'm supposed to be there, like all these things, not wanting to speak because I don't feel educated enough, like all these things, finding out that I don't necessarily have like a learning disability, but it's a learning curve and I don't learn this way, you know what I'm saying? So like, said all that to say, back in school now, not only am I back in school, which you would have, I can't even believe this for me. Like, I can't even believe it because I would never. I had never. Like, I was never. But like, sis is like getting invited to honor society and 3.8 GPAs. Like, and I just wouldn't. It blows my mind. Like, De'Ebony's, you know what I'm saying? Doing that. Like, I'm this person. But said all that to say, because there's a reason I was saying this. I had to. I feel like I lost my point.
It's okay.
What was the question?
It was, how did you deal with the guilt of walking away from like the expectations? I
had to know that I had to be confident in me and know that like what I was giving and who I was showing up as was like, I'm standing on business about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I I got invited there, so I was supposed to be there. There was a need for me to be in this space, right? I did what I had to do. I came, I saw, I conquered. It's time for me to go. I can't stay with y'all all day, or I can't do this all day, or like Nene Leak said, the door is closed, honey. I did what I was supposed to do. And as someone who is, a recovering people pleaser, overproductive, and all the things, just trying to be all the things to everyone so I can get that pat on the back, you know what I'm saying, to feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I had to tell myself, I don't have to give all of that to everyone. Like, it's not even required of me. That's the standard I hold myself to. That's not even what I'm supposed to be doing. Somebody will ask me to come do something, I'll do it and feel like I got to do all the other kind of things too. No, I was asked to just do this.
Period.
And once I did that, it's okay for me to exit.
First nugget I'm going to help y'all with. You can bet on you. Okay? Second nugget. You ain't got to say yes to all the things. Y'all, I had to become saying no to what I need to say no to is a yes to me. And I'm worth the yes. I had to learn that. I am worth the yes that I give and the no that I give. Okay? So, hope y'all caught all the nuggets. If you didn't, rewind it, write it down, catch it. You can bet on yourself. You don't have to give. I say it all the time. Not everyone deserves all of my capacity. I can't give all of me to everyone. Then there's nothing for me or really anybody else. And so it's okay. For me, walking away from the expectation was removing it. When it's time for me to go, it's time for me to go. If it's time for me to stay, it's time for me to stay. If I'm on the fence, I don't know. I'm not moving until I know. And sometimes I move and then realize I need to back up. We talked about the curve and the double lane. Sometimes I need to switch, and that's okay. And I don't owe anyone an explanation except my husband, my Lord, and myself, right? Okay? And that's just where I am with it. And it doesn't take away or add to anyone else and what they're doing or whatever. I just know the lane that I'm in is the lane that I'm in, and I get to drive the car. I gave so many people the keys to the car. Sitting here waiting to thumb a ride because I done gave somebody the keys and they took off in my car, right? And that's
a good analogy.
For real. I did, and everyone was driving, and I was in the back seat. Like, where are we even going? Because I didn't know. And so, just understand that I removed the expectation. I don't have one. If I go in the room, I expect to learn something new. I say that in every room that I want to learn something. And then outside of that, nothing else. If I went, I had a wonderful time. It was great. We keep it pushing. And not everything is for me, and that's okay too. So I had to remove the expectations, on myself. It wasn't other people putting them on me. I was putting them on me.
Absolutely.
I have to do this. I need a degree, and I need all of this and all of that, and I have a certificate, and I have this and that, but I should go get a PhD, and maybe one day I will, because I will be Dr. Moore, period.
Period.
Okay? However, is the time right now? No. I even had an opportunity to get a doctorate, and I was just like, yeah. And then I was like, hey, you know what? Let me roll that in. I've got daughters in high school, so it's not a no, it's just a not a right now. And those are okay too. I love that. Y'all catch the nuggets, rewind it, because she was giving them to you. Rewind. All right. So I just wanted to share with you, I truly have enjoyed the journey of watching you become you, this version of you. Because I don't even, I remember when I met you, but I don't know how old you were. But it has been really cool for me, even the younger version of myself. Some of the stuff I said, I'm like, I was probably horrible to people. They probably did not like me. And I'm so sorry. If you ever caught the version of me that didn't love herself, I apologize in the name of Jesus, okay? I am sorry. Because I didn't know how to love people because I did not love me. No excuses. I own it. Sorry, okay? Hear me. Heartfelt. And so I've watched you just really dive deep into all right, tuning out the noise, still sometimes a little static, you know how we get in our brains and stuff, but really developing you and then your daughters. And just so I want to just say It's been cool. I not only see little snippets on social media, however, it's been really awesome to watch you become the beautiful woman that you are.
Thank you.
On your journey. Just like, all right, I can do this. And so, like I said, I've had a overview of it from the outside looking on social. And so just to encourage you, keep going, because there are women that you don't even know that are watching you, that are looking at you saying, I know you said you're a young mom and all the things. And there's people who are thinking they can't do it, and watching your journey proves that you can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Building after the exit. Y'all, you can have success in a new lane. Success in a new lane. Success in a new lane, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Listen, she's property managing, and I heard from a little bird that my girl went in and is just making numbers that was like, wait, we wasn't doing that before, but she went in and changed what they thought would not be into something that is. Y'all, you can pivot. You can have success in a new lane. Don't tell yourself that you cannot. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I remember you saying, I would never be in property management. And here she is right now, not just in it, excelling at it. Y'all, there can be success in something that you thought that you would never, ever do. What are your thoughts on that, Dave?
So, property management, for a long time, I feel like I put a bad taste in my mouth for it, because it was always my settle career. Like, it was the one thing that I know, if I had to settle, this could give me like somewhat of a lifestyle that I might can, deal with. It was the career I'm like, okay, if I had to do it, live a basic lifestyle, this would be fine. So anytime I was a property manager, I had that on me. I carried that, like, so it didn't feel like an accomplishment. It felt like I was settling.
Oh wow.
So I gave me
goosebumps.
When I after the influencing and working, for Worthy the Label, and all that happened with that, and like, that was a very pivotal moment in my life where everything changed. I learned that I had spent the last 10 years of my life showing up as who I thought I should be, and never who I was. I realized that I had to sit with myself and apologize to me for beating me down, for being a teen mom. And one of my friends, we were at the beach one day with our kids, and she was like, you need to apologize to you. She was like, it's okay. Like, yeah, it happened, but you're fine. Your girls are fine. You have a beautiful life, a stable, she's saying all these things. And I mean, I sat with that for months, and then I unpacked it with my therapist, and she too agreed. She's just like, you haven't even forgive yourself for that, and you've been working trying to prove to everyone else, you know what I'm saying, that you could come back from it, but you never stopped and realized that you came back from that. Like, you know what I'm saying, you used it to propel you forward. Like, it didn't break you, it didn't stop you, it doesn't define you. Yes, it's a part of your story, but it's not who you are. All of those things. So I went through this whole process of just having to forgive myself, and I just feel like I arrived at a space or a place in my life where I can do this and that. Like, and being here doesn't mean I won't get there or I don't deserve that. This is helping me get to where I need to be. The lifestyle that I want to create for myself and my family can't really afford the in-between, right? So there has to be substance in the in-between. I'm not fortunate enough to have the space, the resources, the finances to not have something until it works out. So I can do this until it works out, and it says nothing about who I am besides I'm willing to do what I got to do to get where I want to be. And so I had to change my mindset, because before, like I said, it was just because I was in property management, to me, I had already failed. And property management has proved that I can literally do anything. Like, anything I put my mind to, I can do it. For one, I'm a Leo, so there's very big Leo energy. So So I'm never going to be a part of anything and be okay with being like a leasing agent and that's it. I'm always like, okay, well, who at the top? How did you get there? What you made? How, you know, like I'm always that one. I'm going to figure out a way to get, you know, to get to the top. I'm not okay with being at the bottom. And there are some people who like to do their job and go home and want nothing else. And, you know, as a manager now, I love those kind of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're very, very important. However, because you can't have everybody who want to, you know, arrive at the same place. But it's okay. It's okay to do what you have to do to get where you need to be.
Period. It's okay to want more, y'all. It's okay to be good where you are if you're good where you are. And it is also okay for you to say, I want more. Period. That's what I heard. I don't know what y'all heard, but that's what I heard. Okay. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, let me ask. Okay, look, I love what you said about, like, you were in a job and it didn't matter what anyone else said. You already felt like you had failed. Like, you may be in a space right now, ladies, where you feel like, I'm just doing this, or, you know, I've settled for this. And then it's asking yourself, okay, maybe I have settled, quote unquote, but what can I do to elevate the settling? You know, if I feel like that. And then realizing it's a catalyst to get you where when I walked into the real estate office that I walked into, I said, they were talking about me, and I was like, I'm a millionaire real estate agent. Y'all, I didn't even know what I was really supposed to do to be a millionaire real estate agent, but that's what I told myself. And I was like, I'm going to be on the stage one day with Gary Kepp, like all these things. And in that, I'm like, I'm going to family reunion, I'm doing this. I didn't even know what half of the stuff was I was talking about I was going to do, but I also knew I feel like I would be a part of real estate forever, just not in the same capacity that I was when I started. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but it's that internal knowing, like, I'm going to do this as long as I have to, till I don't have to, if that makes sense. And maybe I'll still do this. I don't know. But also knowing enough about, I'm an Aquarius, and it's like, we are the most emotional people. And I'm like, please tell me no, so I can show you a yes. Please do. Tell me I can't, so I can prove to you. And now I'm like, but learning that it's not about proving anything to anyone except myself. Like, I just want to prove to me.
That's what's going to yield the results.
I want to get my PhD just to prove I can. What am I going to use it for? I have no idea. But I want to do it because I want to do it. It's not for anybody else. I don't need anyone else's approval on it. I want to do it because I want to do it. Right? And learning that that's okay too. You don't need everyone to come along on the journey. Speaking of that, who is already cheering for the version of you that you're becoming?
My biggest cheerleader is going to be my man. That man, my man.
Her man. You heard what she said.
We have this joke, like, I've been married to the same man for 10 years, but he's been married to like 15 different people. Listen.
Girl, listen. I feel the same. Mike is like, I know his routine. I know what he's going to do. And I'm like, Lord, I thank you for him learning to love every version of this. I'm like, he is on a roller coaster that he did not know he was going to be on for the rest of his life. And I'm so thankful. I tell him all the time, I'm thank you for loving every version. I am grateful for you loving every version of me. And I know, Johnny, he is the most even keel person. And he loves her in such a way that it's just like Mike is with me. All right, now. Like, what we doing? We're doing a lot. Well, and so I say he's the calm to the chaos is what I say for Mike. He's the calm to my, let's go. But yeah, I love that. Girl, her man, you heard her say her man. I love that.
He's been just monumental in my life. And my friends, my group of friends, I call them my village, and they just, again, they kind of mirror my husband. It's not a time that I present something to them and they're not just like, I'm sure they're sick of me. I'm not saying that, you know, but they're always like, okay, how can we help?
Right.
What can I do?
Right.
You know, like I have my one best friend, her name's Danny. You'll probably never, like, even on my social media, you'll see her like in snippets. She is such a background girl, right? She is the love of my life, and she's always involved. but she is so like, D, I'm only here for you. Like, she wants to be home under her rock. She is that kind of girl. But when it comes to D, like, she's going to show up if that means she has to be on camera, if that means she has to people, if that means she has to, you know, like, get down in the mud and, like, I mean, she even did a graphic for me and got, like, a little retractable thing made. Like, she shows up and does what I need her to do. Sometimes even when it kind of goes against, you know, like her routine and just who she is as a person. And then obviously everyone knows Jordan. That's just my girl. Like that's the ride or die. If I don't have to provide her with any kind of explanation. Never. If I say that I'm doing something and I need some assistance, she's just showing up. She'll ask me what she needs to do when she get there. You know, like I mean, if I want to go somewhere, if I want to do something, she's my person. And then I have my friend Jackie, and she kind of just keeps me in line and encourages me. And she's always that soft little, you're doing good, D. We're so proud of you. This is what you're meant to do. You know, and she's always, too, very much like, you can do this and that. You know what I mean? Like, so those, they have been my foundation and just keeping me on track and not getting so much in my head where I lose sight of what makes me me. And that is the joy and excitement that I get from new ideas, new endeavors, new journeys, things like that. And then I would be remiss if I didn't say my mother, which she will tell me how sick of me she is, and she does often, and will say another thing, this, again, you know. However, when it comes to them kids, she gonna make sure that they are taken care of so I can do the thing. And that's the way that she shows up for me in that way. Like, she gonna tell me if she don't agree, if she don't like it, and, you know, she gonna give me her opinion whether I ask for it or not. I typically don't ask. She give it though, and she's gonna make sure that my children in my household is taken care of. If that's, I mean, coming over, cleaning up, doing the laundry, getting the kids from school, like, so that I can do and be all the things. And yeah, they are the reason why I can dream so big.
Okay, my baby crying. Yeah. Listen, I concur to everything that she's saying, because I know each one of those people, and they are truly your people. And y'all, you got to make sure that you have a tribe. Call it what you want to. I call it the squad. I have one. So much so that I told my friend, one of my best friends, Shanika, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm supposed to do a conference. And I was like, I really am just leaning towards doing a retreat again. And so she literally, I came back off of, I think, a cheer trip or something. She literally was like, here. And I was like, what is this? She was like, the information for the hotel where we're having the conference. I was like, oh, wait. She done went, talked to the people. They had already emailed the contract over. And I was like, wait a minute. She was like, you keep saying you're going to do it. If you're going to do it, here it is now. Then she even called and was like, listen, did you go over there yet? Somebody gonna book the dates? And I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, and then we're gonna have to find somewhere else. And we're not looking for nowhere. And I was like, okay, she is that person that's like, get it and let's go. And she don't need no details. If I say I'm about to do this is her stand right here. This is but the little stand that this is, when I say, oh, I'm about to do this, she's like, okay. My husband, I ordered the equipment, my podcast, wrong stuff. She was like, that is not what you need. I was like, I'm not a tag girl. I'm not that girl. I'm going to show up in the room, girl. Right? And my husband, she called my husband, knew our anniversary was coming, and was like, hey, she really wants to do the podcast, da-da-da-da. He ordered me everything that I needed. When I say my husband is like her, that man, he come into the event, he's like, what you need me to do? You need me to go to the store? You need to do something? He gone. You got everything you need? Yes. Okay. Love you, bye. And he is out the door. But everything that I've been like, I know he like another. Okay. And I'm like, hey, babe. And he's like, And I'm like, I know what that means. When I got with the enthusiasm, he knows something is coming. And I'll be like, my poor husband. But I'm so thankful, because I needed that in my life. He is the calm to my chaos. He can reel me in when I'm like, because he was the one who, thank the Lord, talked me out of the bakery. He was like, babe, do you know how many cakes you're going to have to sell in order to truly make money. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do cupcakes. I'm gonna do donuts in the morning. That's gonna be the cupcake flavors for the afternoon. So on the way to work, they can get donuts. On the way home, they can get cupcakes. He was like, listen. He was like, okay, and babe, do you know how early you're gonna have to get up? How late you're gonna have to stay? And he really just kind of made me like, okay, you're right. That will be a lot. So I have my one friend. She's like my administrative person. She is my, I got an idea. Oh, okay, go do this. Take this picture. Go get this prop from the Dollar Tree. I'm like, girl, what are we doing? She is that friend. Listen, she is. And then I got my one friend that's just like, yeah, girl, we're gonna. She is yes to anything I say. I'm like, do you? She be like, girl, no, but yeah, girl, we gonna do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So. Anything that I needed them to do for they was like, what you need us to do beforehand. We all have kids, even if it's getting mine back and forth to dance and cheer. They're like, oh, we got you. You go do you. We got you. Even like, oh, do this on a podcast. This is a podcast I did. Like, we have conversation, and I'm so grateful for them in my life. And my best friend, Tasha, love her to life. We've been friends since middle school. And that girl is like, I see you, sis. And I'm like, thank you so much. Like, in the moments where I'm just like, I don't know, she's always like, you got it? Yeah. You got it. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I do. I got it. And my mom and my grandma, same. And my daughters. You about to say the girls, right? Yes. My grandma, Ida Mae, listen. Ida Mae gonna pray over everything. If she don't do nothing else, my grandma is always, I'm praying for you. And she, so much so, my grandma doesn't even have Facebook, y'all. And she said, you be going to talk to the people. And I was like, girl, huh? She was like, oh, and I was like, huh? She was like, on the computer, the thing. And I was like, oh, Facebook Live? And I was like, oh, no, ma'am, I don't do. Oh, Tasha, I was like, I know. She made me feel so bad. And she don't even have Facebook. And I was like, oh. She was like, you're supposed to be doing what God told you to do. And I'm like, I know, I felt so bad. And so, like, my mom is always, like, sharing everything. And my grandma don't have Facebook, but she is always like, I'm praying for you. And I'm like, listen, do that part. I need all of that part. And so it is so important to have that community that is there for you and shows up as their true, authentic self. Like, that, my girl is like, we're doing it. So we're meeting this week to go overall because she won't let me not. I'm like, oh, we'll do it. Nope, we're doing it now. And she had I was like, the lady, when I went in, she was like, who are you again? I was like, it was not me. It was actually my friend. She came here a couple weeks ago. She was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm sorry.
You need those. You need those, though.
When I was hesitant, she was like, no, we're not hesitating. My event that I had in October, I was like, oh, I should do. She was like, what day? And I was like, huh? She was like, pick a day now. Because you've been talking about it, and you ain't got nothing on the books, pick a day. And I was like, okay. And so I'm thankful for her. I know I give her a hard time, and I make her work for it. Because she'd be like, I'm so sorry. But I'm so grateful to have those people in my life. So it is very, very important. So have people that are rooting for you before they even know who you're going to become. That won't ask no questions, that will just sit in the car and be like, we don't even know where we're going, but we're going because she going. You need those people. All right, Miss De'Ebony, we are at the section. Wait, is this right? Yeah, okay. Where we are going to. Oh, well, I'm going to say this. A new lane is going to require new people, right? We talked about that. New rooms, new opportunities. And it's okay for you to realize maybe I'm not the problem. Maybe it's the room. And so, De'Ebony, the last question for you. What would you say to a woman starting to feel like, here I go again, doing something else, starting over one more time? What would you say to her?
I will say to you, or her, she, them, whoever, ask yourself if where you are now, if you're okay with being there and staying there. Because if you are, then not doing the thing or taking the risk, it doesn't matter, it won't affect you. It'll just be either a regret or you won't think about it later. But if you want more, and we all know that more requires more pivots, all kind of things. If you know that you want more, then that thing is probably going to be the thing that provides the more. And And you can take that in or out of whatever context you want to. Because either it's going to be the thing to get you there, or it's going to put you on the path to get you to the thing. And we've already made that very clear. See, captains, remember? Like, okay, full circle moment here.
Yes.
Like, it's all working together. And you can choose to think that maybe it's not working together for the good, but that's something that you'll have to deal with. But whether it's good, bad, or ugly, it's all working together. So if you're okay with where you are, then you can afford not to take the risk or the chance. But if you want more, if you want to elevate, if you know that thought or that dream or that person that you want to be is always nagging you in the back of your head, like if you're always thinking about it, then the thing that you're afraid to do is probably the thing that's gonna put you where you need to be or where you want to be. And that was for me too.
Okay, listen, I heard it's worth the risk. That's what I heard. I don't know what y'all heard. Okay,
Correct.
Listen, if you're good where you are, stay where you're at. If you always have that internal little voice that's in there like, okay, girl, what we doing? You might need to take that step. And one of the things I want to add to that, De'Ebony, that was so good, thank you, is be okay with finding your groove, your momentum, and don't feel like you gotta rush. I feel like for me, I gotta get there. And it's like, it takes the time that it takes, because I'm learning things along the way that I will need when I get wherever it is. And honestly, I think I know where it is, but I feel like it keeps changing. The more I grow and evolve, I'm like, oh wait, that's what I thought it was. But no, you know what? I think there's a little more to it than what I thought. So with that being said, be okay with the time that it takes. Evaluate, like she said, where I am. Am I cool with being here forever? And if not, ask yourself the questions and say, okay, what's stopping me from getting where I feel like I could be?
And I do want to add to that,
yeah,
because if you decide to do the thing, I think when I think about how I transitioned into someone that I am very proud of today, and there's still so much room for growth. Absolutely, I am nowhere near. Thank y'all for clapping for me, but you ain't seen nothing yet, okay? But for me, the pivotal moment in becoming this version of me was not allowing everyone to have access to my process. And that may look different for some people, but in my mind, I go straight to social media. The world doesn't have to know that you're healing and evolving. The world doesn't have to know that you're working on oneself. The world, your friends, your family, your circles, they don't have to know. And I think when you keep that intimate, vulnerable space to yourself, you give yourself so much room to grow, expand, and be flexible in your journey. I gave so many people access to parts of me that I couldn't even hear my own voice. It was hard for me. I didn't know whether I was growing or drowning or like, it was just, I was so scattered in my, it was bad. It was just so bad how many voices I heard other than my own. I had no voice. I literally had no voice for myself. And if I can encourage anyone when they're on that journey, just to pivoting and starting over and doing the new thing and becoming a new person, is be very, very selfish with that part of you. Like your spouse, yes. The Lord, if that's your jam, yes. I'm gonna say that's probably about it. No, I'm just being honest. Like you just, it is such a vulnerable space, and you have no idea. You may think you know what this world tells you healing is like, but it is nothing like what people tell you. And it don't feel, most people who are healing are not online saying that they're healing. They don't even feel like you're healing and growing. It's just like,
what's going on right now? And am I crazy? Have I lost my mind? Because that's coming on.
Nothing seems or feels familiar. And so just giving yourself the opportunity to deal with that in your own way, and just to be guided by your own voice and your own intuition. It matters.
That part. And you give yourself, like you said, permission to work through the process without feeling like you failed before you even started. Because I feel like when we tell people stuff and then we're like, oh wait, I don't know if that's the route I'm supposed to go, and then we feel like we have to do it. And so we're jumping out and rushing and moving the momentum before it's meant to be moved because we said it out of our mouth. So I know for me that it's like, oh, I gotta do this. And learning that you do learn so much about yourself in that quiet space. The one thing that I've said in my whole entire life, and there's like, well, it's one thing that you would do over. I will never have a voice be louder than my own again in my life, other than the Lord. That's my deal. But now I will not have people speaking to me who truthfully are probably needing to do work as well, like I did, had to do work, are telling me things with good intentions. Don't get me wrong in that. But it was wrong stuff, and I listened to it because I wanted people to like me. And so I listened to all the things, and every voice in this world was louder than mine. I was like, that's the one thing I tell myself, don't let any voice be louder than your own, even friends. And I love them all, and I'm thankful for them, but I have to be the voice that's driving things. Because even with people are giving me names of people, and I'm like, but I still have to really sit with the final say in that, and nothing wrong with the names that they're giving me. I just know what this is supposed to feel like for the women who come, and so I have to be very intentional with who I allow in that space. Absolutely. And so there you have it. Y'all heard that. Don't let nobody be louder than you, and take the time you need to keep it close until you don't have to anymore. I know I didn't say nothing. I was like, and backing and forth with it, and I was like, I held it for a very long time to just me. I didn't even tell Mike at first, and then I was like, I think I'm supposed to do a podcast. He was like, okay, kind of like what? But he sat with me. We talked through it, and I was like, I don't even really at that point didn't even know what it was supposed to be, just. And then it was like having women share their story. So take the time. I love that, De'Ebony. I want to give you guys, y'all know I like to give some work, an alignment check. Where do I feel drained versus energized? De'Ebony was talking about that, when it feels like it's draining you versus energizing you. So, okay, am I in the right room? These are questions you can ask yourself. Where do I feel unseen versus celebrated? Not that everybody's got to be clapping for you all the time, but they're acknowledging the growth that they see. Where do I see that? Does that fit? Where do I feel like I'm pretending versus being my true, authentic self? And then the last one, who am I becoming if I stay here? What she talked about. If that's where you want to stay, stay. But who are you becoming while you do it? All right, Miss D. We're at my favorite part of the show, rapid fire. All right, okay. When I came over, I was like, okay, I like this question.
Oh boy.
Listen, okay, what's your dream room vibe?
Oh my God. So, girl, this is my type of question.
Okay,
right
listen.
Here. So I'm thinking like bold pinks, oranges, purples, yellows. We got balloon arches and flowers in the ceiling, like drapes from the ceiling. We got multiple backdrops, tables, squares, circles, like. I'm talking about a time, right? We got the DJ, we got nice pretty food, we got the cute little servers coming around, serving up hors d'oeuvres and stuff, right? And then you got women in there that are so freaking bold. I mean, everyone you look at, and I'm talking about physical statement bold too, but I'm also talking about like the inside, okay? Like every woman you make eye contact with, every woman you see, you are immediately affected by their energy because you know, like, for one, they belong there. Two, you recognize that you're in the room with somebody else that belongs there. And three, you know that like work is about to be done, okay? In whatever capacity that work is. But like, just being around other women. I am a girl's girl. I am not the type of person that don't need friends, don't need community. I'm the one calling the friends. Let's go have a drink. Let's go out. What y'all want to do? Let's get cute. Let's just do something fun that we ain't never did before. You know what I'm saying? I'm that person. Hence, I was the first one to take Miss Tasha banana boating, and she almost lost her life.
I did. I was like, I thought about that the other day. I was on a whole banana boat.
Yes, like
she waited to ride the boat that I was on. Like, now I got to be on the boat with her. I'm like, cause you know I'm about to have a whole fit.
She
I did. Thought I was gonna lose. I was fighting for my life, y'all.
And she was fine and loved it.
It was. I did. I really did have a good time. I really did.
But yes, just bringing the vibes of confident, independent, strong, bold, authentic women for sure in a room. And multiple.
Y'all can clearly tell she thought about it because she was ready with the quickness. I'm like, okay, it's orange, it's purple, it's pink. And she was, listen, she already got her room picked out. Did you hear me? Okay. What's your favorite food?
Oh, right now it is chicken wings.
Okay, chicken wings.
Garlic parm chicken wings.
Girl, that's it. I don't care. Best ranch.
Best ranch? I'm not really a ranch.
You're not a ranch?
I don't eat ranch with my wings.
You like blue cheese? No, just
Roadhouse blue cheese.
Okay, I love Wingstop ranch. That ranch.
I've actually never eaten that Wingstop.
Oh, you gotta go.
That's crazy, right?
Oh, yes, girl, you gotta go. Listen, Wingstop wings hit. Okay, and they little Cajun corn and the Cajun fries. Girl, listen.
Okay, Wingstop.
Wingstop, you have to go. Yes, okay. If you could switch careers for one day, what would you do?
Architecture for sure.
Oh,
I would shadow an architect. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I like that. I just met an architect yesterday, and they make some good money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I was like,
their brains though, like the way that works up there that blows my
next
mind.
level.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. She's like, this lady. She was like, yes. Okay. What's one red flag that if you are in the wrong room, you will never ignore it?
Energy.
Like it.
I can feel it. I mean, it affects me. The energy.
Okay, energy.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong room, energy.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, what no led to a better yes?
Ooh, what no led to a better yes? School. Going back to school.
Oh, beauty. I love that. All right, if your pivot season had a hairstyle, what would it be?
Oh, a pixie cut.
Listen, I was showing my friend a pixie cut. I love that. Mine is a bob. I love a good power bob with the angles and they sharp. Listen,
You want the clean
color.
Yes.
I love a pixie cut. I told my friend, I was sending her pictures the other day. She keep talking about getting her cut. I'm like, girl, look at these pixie cuts. They coming back in. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. This has been so much. See, I was like, if you're pivot, all right, time to start calling you. All right, pixie cut.
Yeah.
What we doing today?
Hey, I better watch out. You might. You never know. 2025. You never
Girl,
know.
listen. So y'all know I like to always issue you a challenge. So I want you to take a second today, sit with yourself, whether it's with your journal in your quiet space or your whatever it is that you need to do. Audit your environment, your jobs, your career, your friendships, like the spaces that you're in. It's important to always be auditing where you are because I feel like that's the only way you get where you need to be. And so sit and write down. I got some things. Your relationships, your social circles. Y'all, they matter.
Very important.
They are. They really and truly do. And I think for a long time I didn't pay attention to that. I just wanted friends. But the truth is I needed the right friends, and so it's important to have those people in your world that are going to encourage you. So I want to encourage you today. You are not crazy. You're not losing your mind. There's not something wrong with you. You are just at a place where it's time for you to pivot. And it is time for you to decide that this is not the room I'm supposed to be in. And once you do that, I promise you the doors to the room you're supposed to walk in will open. De'Ebony Hartsfield. Oh my gosh, it has been so much fun. I don't want this episode to end. But y'all, she was dropping nuggets and gems. If you missed them, go back. I'm going back to watch it. I'm going to be writing in my journal the things, the takeaways. Ultimately, we're just encouraging you that it is not okay to give up. On yourself. Let's say it like that. You might have to give up on situations and things like that. Not give up, but walk away. And we don't want to think about it like giving up. We want to say you can pivot. It's absolutely okay for you to pivot and add an extra lane if you need to. Make 4 lanes if you have to, all right? There are 4-lane highways out there if that's what you need to do.
Working
to
just fine.
Listen, if that's what you need to do to get where you need to be, do it. You are not crazy. You're not losing your mind. You're just in the wrong room. De'Ebony is a beautiful example of what getting in the right room does for you. Y'all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow her on social media. Her handles will be down below. Make sure that you go to her Instagram, her journey. Her girls are beautiful. And you can see she was somewhere. I don't even know where she was. She was out of town, but my girl had a pink dress on and the fit was serving the people, okay? I was like, okay, T, we love you. I was like, okay, girl, I see you. Yes. It was so pretty. But again, it's so beautiful to watch your journey of the young woman that you're becoming. I'm so proud of you for going back to school, girl. Yes. All right, squad. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see y'all later. Bye.